right. Good Wednesday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, one has had a fantastic Wednesday. I am your meteorologist Peterson, who forgets to press public on his live stream. Peterson, and let's go on and talk about the weather for your Wednesday evening going into your future. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Obviously, the weather for tonight. Obviously, we're going to talk about strong storms tomorrow. Damaging winds being the main threat. We're also going to talk about drier and slightly cooler Friday into Saturday. We're also going to talk about hot and humid temperatures return Sunday all the way into next week. Heat index values probably going to be around 100 to 105, back to where it is now. Heat advisories probably will be needed Monday and Tuesday, and then isolated afternoon storms possible pretty much every single day. So that's what we're going to talk about. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button, make sure you're going to do so. Yes, we had a little celebration yesterday for 500, but we are still on the grind to get up to 600. So we had a day of celebration, but we need to go back on and get up to 600 now. Let's go on now and talk with the recorded audience for the people who can unfortunately not make it to the live stream tonight. Good Wednesday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, one has had a fantastic Wednesday. I am your meteorologist Peterson, and let's go on and talk about the weather for your Wednesday evening going into your future. But first off, it's Wednesday evening, which means you have made it halfway through the week. Let's go and get an applause for that. Made it halfway through the week. We just have Thursday and Friday to go, and we will be to the weekend. But let's go on and talk about what's going on throughout the state. We do have some rainfall going on throughout the low country of South Carolina. Moncks Corner going through Walterboro, Sheldon going through Seabrook, Dale, and Ridgeland, South Carolina, right there on the border of South Carolina and Georgia on I-95. But overall, that's pretty much it. Nothing else going on. If we go on and look at what's going on throughout the entire United States, we do have some rainfall going on in Georgia as well as Florida, even inside of Pennsylvania. We do have some damage in Pennsylvania, damage in Ohio with those storms pushing through. This will be the same storm system that pushes in tomorrow, as well, giving us our severe weather, but it's going through Indiana and Illinois. We do have some damage also in Kentucky, as well as rains moving through there. We actually had an 81 mile per hour wind gust going through Ohio, up there near Cleveland, Ohio. Rain going on through Chicago, Iowa going up here in the North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota. But look at the West. Nice and dry right now throughout the West. Nothing going on really over there. If we go towards our cloud cover right now, obviously, down the low country of South Carolina, Grand Strand getting some as well. But near the upstate, there is some light cloud cover. It's not much, but it's overall just light. If you go into your cloud cover for the future, as we go on and push this forward right here, you can see that cloud cover will continue to move its way east, and it will continue to build as we go into tomorrow morning. This is right here. That cloud cover will still be kind of just scattered, not really too much in terms of like widespreadness like we've been seeing for like the past couple of weeks now, even as we go into like tomorrow evening as well. We do have some clouds up there in the upstate, but overall low country, PD, Midland stay relatively clearer than usual. Going into our current temperatures right now, still actually pretty warm out there. From 88 inside of Columbia, 84 in Orangeburg, 84 in Holly Hill, as well as 82 in Somerville, 82 in Moncks Corner, as well as 80 in Onondaga, 82 in Georgetown, 84 in Conway, 82 inside of Myrtle Beach, and 83 in North Myrtle Beach. We also do have 82 in Charleston, 84 in Spartanburg, as well as 82 in Greenville, 82 in Clemson, as well as 80 in Anderson. We also do have 84 down here near Bamberg, and 82 near Beaufort and Hilton Head Island. Going into low temperatures tonight, you can see around 72 in Greenville and Spartanburg, 72 in Anderson, 73 in Lawrence and Greenwood. We also do have 75 in Columbia, 75 in Sumter and Florence, as well as 77 in Myrtle Beach, 76 in Georgetown, and 78 in Charleston, 78 in Hilton Head Island, as well as 73 in Walterboro as well. Going into your rainfall for tonight, overall, we do have just that risk for rainfall pretty much for most of the state, from 100th of an inch to a tenth of an inch from Anderson through Lawrence, Rock Hill, Dillon, Florence, Columbia, Moncks Corner, Walterboro. All these places all have a risk for around 100th of an inch to a tenth of an inch, except for like the coastal low country. We also do have around a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch for some regions, Myrtle Beach being one of those, Georgetown being one of those, and Greenville also being one of those as well. I mean, somebody might even get a quarter of an inch to a half an inch. This goes from 10 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. Tomorrow. If we go on towards our SPC outlook, you can see that overall we do have some thunderstorm activity that will go on for the rest of tonight. Let's see if they've updated it, because usually they do it every single time right when I'm about to. Yep, they sure did, because they do it every single time I'm about to go on and talk about it, instead of updating it a bit beforehand. Sometimes they do, but here's the new one right here. You can see that overall it takes, a bit out, but thunderstorms, I guess, ingredients are still there. Low country of South Carolina as well as the upstate, but Midlands, PD region, Grand Trent overall, a lot more clear pretty much inside of the none category. If we go into tomorrow, obviously tomorrow is our severe weather day, as isolated severe storms are possible for the entire state of South Carolina. There is a little tip up there near York County, right there where it intersects with South Carolina and North Carolina. That is inside of a slight risk of severe weather. That's a chance for some scattered storms up there. But overall, obviously, like we've seen before, storms don't really respect boundaries. So honestly, you never know. They might bring that slight risk more down into South Carolina. They might, keep it where it is, or they might shrink it. We don't know. We're just gonna have to see what happens tomorrow morning. But we'll get into that tomorrow morning, obviously. Now, what's this for? It's mainly for wind. If you're inside the green, you have a 5% risk of receiving some damaging winds, 40 to 60 miles per hour, most likely. And then if you're inside the yellow, you have a 14% or 15% chance of receiving some damaging winds. So overall, scattered wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour. And hail as well. You also do have a chance for some isolated large hail in the yellow as well. But if you're inside the green, probably no risk at all. And even as we go into Friday as well, thunderstorms are also expected Friday as well. But they will take a little bit of a break, especially up there in the upstate, Greenville, Spartanburg, as well. As we go into our excessive rainfall outlook, I do want to go on and take a look at that. As you can see here, we do have this threat for some minor flooding, but it's mainly for tomorrow. You can see right here, minor risk of flooding, but it's up here, just to like the west of Pickens, Walhalla, South Carolina as well, just right there on that border of South Carolina, Georgia, and North Carolina, where the three states meet at. But overall, as you continue moving this forward even further into the future, no excessive rainfall is expected. So just some minor flooding tomorrow. If we go on now and look at our next area, which is our models for the future. So as you can see here, time is in the top right corner of your screen. Make sure you go on and look at that, starting off at 9 o'clock p.m. You can see overall just the rainfall activity that's going on. Even as you go to around 12 to 1 a.m., that's when everything starts to clear out. And then also there's some rain and maybe some more rain starting to go out in the upstate around 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, but it's like an isolated shower, so it's not much. Even as you go into the afternoon hours, it's not much at all. If we go in and look even further into the future, you can see that really you can start to see where that cold front is. You can see the cold front is around right here where my cursor is, and it's going to move its way east. You start to see some of those isolated storms up there in the upstate. And by the time you get to around 9 p.m., you're not really seeing much. I mean, you have some shower activity down there in the low country, but it's not much. Then I think these are the storms right here that they might be pointing out for at around 1 o'clock in the morning going through. And overall, I mean, it's going to be out. So this is why there's a low confidence on this only inside the marginal sector. It's just because it's uncertain right now, and honestly, the threat's not that high. So that's why they have it there. But as you can see, as it moves through all the way through to North Carolina, you can see it intensifies as it gets like off the coast. And overall, South Carolina is staying relatively dry as we go through June the 20th, as that is Friday. And we said that Friday going into Saturday, it could be a lot drier as we go through those 2 days. Let's go on and look at the long-term future now. So we're going to start off here at the 48-hour mark, going into 2 p.m. on June the 20th, where we just ended off. If we go on and push this forward, you can see that overall, like I was saying, it's going to stay relatively drier than usual, but obviously with the sea breeze, that will cause some isolated shower and storm activity, maybe to move into the coastal regions, but overall, inland stays relatively dry. And even as you continue it forward, we might see a little bit of a break all the way through June the 23rd, but then the 24th comes in, and we have a little coastal storm right here. This is on June the 25th right here that maybe try to push its way into South Carolina, so that's your early warning. Not quite sure if anyone else has, brought that up yet, but little coastal storm right there, maybe trying to bring its way in to South Carolina as we go through around June the 25th, and as we continue to push that forward even more, just overall just active activity as we go all the way through into July as well. And we talked about, the rest of June and seeing what it was going to show. I do want to go on and show temperature anomalies for the rest of June, though, because we have not talked about that yet. If you go on and push this forward, this is going to be warmer than average as we go through. Even with that cold front pushing in, it might be a bit cooler for some regions during the nighttime hours or probably daytime hours. But overall, it's going to be just warmer than average as we go through the rest of June. Maybe on June the 25th, we might get some relief going through the 27th. But that warm air is still there as we go through the rest of June. So overall, it's going to be a warmer than average rest of our month in terms of temperatures. And if you even go into shaded, you can see overall that really does not change out of the 90s, still going into the 100s. And overall, it's not really going to change much. Maybe as we get later into June, like I said, we may get down to like the high 80s, low 90s. But overall, and I mean, you just get right back into it going into July. So that's it in terms of our long-term future. Let's go on and look at the crazy score. We're at a 45 inside the moderate category. Noticeable weather conditions such as moderate rain, wind, or minor storms. The reason why the bot put us at a 45, a few leftover storms, especially in the upstate, Piedmont, in the low country, but most activity will diminish or have already diminished. Damaging winds could still occur with any storm. There was a special weather statement that occurred around an hour ago that had wind gusts of up to 55 miles per hour earlier, and so obviously that has dissipated. Fog and low clouds could develop late tonight, especially where it rained earlier. So if you got any rain, probably like in the past hour or so, you probably could see some fog tonight, warm and muggy, and then some debris clouds may linger overnight from earlier convection as well. And so that's it in terms of our crazy score. Let's go on and look at the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight if my computer decides it wants to work. I guess it doesn't. Okay, so it might just have to be, it's probably going to be a bit off, but I mean, it's going to be kind of small. Oh, no, I fixed it. We good. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Thad says, good evening, Just I trust all is well. All is well. Thank you so much for asking. Says, a bit of sad news from the floods here in San Antonio. 13 people lost their lives. That is very unfortunate. And I'm sorry to hear that. Like I say all the time, I know y'all are inside of a drought. And in terms of, the drought, that rainfall definitely helped the drought out. But that's why I say I never wish for any sort of flooding. I just wish for heavy rainfall so that you can go on and won't have to worry about stuff like that. So I do apologize for hearing that. Trail says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you. She also says 105. Yeah, it's supposed to be up to around 105 in terms of our heat index as we continue through. But, I mean, we've already dealt with that probably around probably earlier this week. I mean, some regions probably have already gotten to around 105, especially in the low country of South Carolina, 103, 104. Maybe not quite 105, but I think 105, that's where that category is to where they start issuing those heat advisories just because of how hot it will get. So we have not gotten any yet, but probably some on next week. Miss Oliver says, good evening. It is a steam bath outside right now. We had a thunderstorm that came through about an hour ago. The frogs are singing their three-chambered hearts out, and that was the thunderstorm I was talking about that came through with the 50 to 55 miles per hour winds. And that definitely will help probably in aiding with some fog and just the mugginess just in general as well. So definitely, if you have to go out late, make sure that you're aware of that. Mr. Chris says hello from Monk's Corner. Hello to you. My Nana says OJ had a hard time getting on tonight. I don't think I sent the thing out tonight. I'll send it to you just tomorrow. We'll see what happens there. And then my aunt Shirley says, hello, hope all is well. It is hot here. We'll talk about Raleigh in just a second. But before we talk about Raleigh, let's go ahead and talk about San Antonio. First, we're going to talk about our three locations of San Antonio, Raleigh, and Philadelphia. And then we're going to talk about what's going on throughout the entire United States. And after that, we have to do a tropics update as well, because we actually did just get something from the tropics. But I do want to talk about this first, because this is the tropics. That's not a part of South Carolina, but it is a good update to share. Starting off with San Antonio first, low temperatures tonight 78, high temperatures tomorrow 94, low temperatures tomorrow night at 76. No precipitation is expected tonight or tomorrow for San Antonio though. But if you go into severe weather, let me go on, get that up. Here it is right here. In terms of severe weather, there is no severe weather that is expected for Texas, but if you go into excessive rainfall, no excessive rainfall for tonight, nor tomorrow, nor Friday, nor Saturday, nor Sunday. So there is nothing really to talk about there in terms of excessive rainfall. If we go into Raleigh being our next location, low temperatures tonight 75, high temperatures tomorrow 96, low temperatures tomorrow night 71. No precipitation tonight, chance of thunderstorms tomorrow, and thunderstorms are likely tomorrow night. If you go on into Raleigh in terms of severe weather, there is indeed a severe weather threat tomorrow. Slight risk of severe weather. That's a 15% risk of damaging winds and a 5% chance of damaging hail. So overall, some isolated hailstones of up to an inch is possible, and some scattered wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour is also possible tomorrow. If you go into excessive rainfall, as we go through tonight, nothing tomorrow, nothing. Same thing with Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you're good in terms of excessive rainfall. And then our last location being Philadelphia, with low temperatures tonight 72, high temperatures tomorrow 92, and low temperatures tomorrow night 68. Slight chance of thunderstorms tonight. Showers are likely tomorrow, and thunderstorms are likely tomorrow night as well. If you go into your excessive rainfall first, we're going to do excessive rainfall first. There's actually a chance for some maybe tonight, definitely tomorrow, some minor flooding tomorrow. And then after that, that's pretty much it. Severe weather being the last one. And there actually is a slight risk of severe weather that actually they just got rid of, so never mind. But there is one for tomorrow, though. Slight risk of severe weather for tomorrow. There actually is a 15% risk, again, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, 5% chance of damaging hail, and then there actually is a 2% chance for tornadoes, meaning that an isolated tornado threat is there. That's for tomorrow, though. But that's it in terms of those three locations. I do want to say something about the tropics first off. Obviously, no tropical cyclone activity during the next 7 days. So obviously, that's a great thing. But if we go on over here to the Eastern Pacific, I believed that Eric was probably going to be around a Category 1 hurricane, and I thought, okay, it was probably just going to go right there. Eric is actually forecast to become a Category 3 hurricane, and it actually will become a major hurricane as it goes up into the coastal Mexico region down there in southern Mexico. So that will cause definitely devastating wind damage where the core of the storm moves in. Life-threatening flash flooding, mudslides are likely as well down there as well, and dangerous life-threatening storm surge as well down there. So it's going to be a next rough night and probably day tomorrow and possibly even Friday as well. So I just want to let you know about that though. But overall, again, no threat for us in the Atlantic or near the Atlantic coast and the Gulf either. So still kind of quiet right now. Still quiet right now. But again, this is not our active month. Our active month is usually going into September and October. Those are our active months for when we usually start to see, obviously, that tropical activity. And then one last thing, strong to potentially severe thunderstorms with damaging wind gusts are forecasted Thursday from parts of New England to the mid-Atlantic and the Carolinas. Significant heat will expand across the west and the central plains through Friday, potentially breaking daily high temperature records. Dangerous heat will then build in the eastern U.S. this weekend into much of next week. That goes into places up there in Massachusetts, going into New Jersey, going into Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Nebraska, parts of South Dakota and North Dakota as well, even into the west from Nevada, going into Utah, Arizona, and California. So pretty much we're just going to get into a hot period here. Almost everyone's just pretty much going to be getting hot. So pretty much I honestly would say that everyone should be making sure that they are hydrated and not just going outside, not drinking any water or anything like that. And that's pretty much all I have to say on that. Let's check out the chat one more time. I don't see anything else. So we're going to go on and end this off here. Again, if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure that you go in and do so. It's quick. It's easy. It takes about 2 seconds. It's quicker than you grabbing that ice cream sandwich out the freezer that you got last week. It's quicker than trying to go up. I mean, probably easier than trying to go and, whether that be cleaning your room, making up your bed. It's quicker than all of that. All you got to do is go on and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the share button. You just need to have an account, and if you subscribe, you're going to be able to go on and type inside of the chat as well. So make sure that you go on and do so, and I will be back tomorrow morning with your Thursday morning forecast update, and we are halfway done with the week. Make sure that you go in and do so, and we are on the way to 600 subscribers.